Welcome to Frost Astrophotography and this part 14 of my miniature home observatory build. In this video I will do some finishing touches on the painting, and I will try to assemble the slide gate motor and the gear rod. The goal here is to get this gear rod here lined up with the motor and then attached to the roof. So I'm trying to make the mount for the gear rails or gear rods I have the roof in the fully open position now, and as you can see, you have the gear on the motor here and the wall here. That means that I need to have the gear rod sticking out from the wall to the gear on the motor. And that piece of gear rod will be sticking out on the outside of the roof. If I don't have it sticking out in front, I won't be able to open the roof as far as it is open now. going to attach the magnets and figure out the best positions for them, and then test to see that the roof actually stops when reaching the limit. So one of the cables is a ground, and that it is shared among the two. I think the upper magnet here will be the limiter for opening, as well as the built-in, and the lower for closing. At least that is what the instructions are saying. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to place it somewhere now where it can make a connection with the other magnet that I'm placing somewhere. But first I just need to test it to see that it actually works. So I had to make a few adjustments. As you can see, I was forced to cut a piece off and put it here at the end, because I was missing about 12 centimeters of gear rod. And the quality of this piece is not the greatest, and that meant that if I put them flush to each other, the gap here was too small. So the rotating gear on the motor got caught up in the tooth before or after the gap, and that meant that it was dislocated. So I had to first adjust the tooth, had to file it down, then I had to adjust the mounting holes to allow this to be moved ever so slightly, and place it about 2 or 3 millimeters apart from the other gear rod. And that helped. Now it does not get caught up and jump over. You can see the magnet here. This is the magnet for fully open position that stops the motor. Inside now. First, I did plan on using the original magnets, but that didn't work because the original magnets here are sitting way too low, and the mounting brackets for the gear rod, it was not possible to mount it because it would be caught up in this wood here. So I went back to my idea of using external magnetic switches and placed them up here. And this will let the roof slide over the sensors. And the right one here, that is for fully opened. That will be connected to the magnetic switch at the end of the gear rod. And this magnetic switch is actually the one for fully closed, and that is connected to the one mounted right here. Now I had to adjust these several times before I got the roof to stop exactly where I wanted it, because it's hard to tell when the magnetic switches will make a connection. Now I have to dress this up. I have to wire these connectors inside the housing for the motor there. Inside you can see the wheels and the pieces of wood, the rail protection that I have. I also had to adjust that several times to be able to get the gear rod here be fully in line with the motor and the gear. I didn't notice that when using the roof with only manual force with my hands. It was not a big problem that there was a little bit of gap here and there, but when engaging with the motor, I realized that I had problems if the gap was not reduced significantly or removed altogether. So I had to manually adjust the rail supports on both sides to make sure that it is a complete fit between the support and the wheels, so that the roof cannot move side to side at all. I'm going to try the open again. And as you can see, it shut off exactly where it was supposed to be. And close. I still have a little bit of an issue with the roof not being fully engaged on the gear wheel on the motor, so I'm going to adjust that once more. The final adjustments have been completed, and I can't stress enough that it is very, very important that the gear rod is very tightly secured to the joist or stud or whatever else you attach it to, because the force on this when closing the roof, when it's fully opened, is tremendous, and you just have a very small piece of the rod engaged with the motor at that edge. So I had problems with this actually moving sideways, and I corrected that, and I had no more issues with the gear dislocating. So now it's time to test the roof off and on after adjustments. It works perfectly without any problems whatsoever. Testing one more time with the view to the south. And closing. perfect. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you like my content. Until the next video, I wish you have clear skies.